What is up, everybody? 1998 Year in Review continues with me, Daniel Rock 08, and today I am talking about WCW's Uncensored, which has garnered the reputation, Uncensored has, garnered the reputation of being some of the worst pay-per-views of all freaking time. Not to mention how bad 95 was with a King of the Road match, or 96's main event, where it's the Mega Powers defeating the Alliance to end Hulkamania in a triple-decker steel cage match, or the Yappapi Indian strap match. However, last year's Uncensored was the exception. Yeah, the main event was awesome. Yeah, it beat out WrestleMania 13. Yeah. Can this Uncensored follow up from that good Uncensored from 1997? Well, actually, it does. Even though WCW is losing their grip on being the number one organization in all of professional wrestling, which actually, before I move on, in Vince McMahon's mind, even though he was getting his ass kicked by WCW, he always was number one in his mind. Why? Because WCW is in the wrestling business and Vince McMahon is in the sports entertainment business. Two completely different things. Completely different organizations. Actually, no, there isn't. There is no difference. I don't care what anybody says. There is no difference between sports entertainment and professional wrestling. So all you stupid smart marks out there who hates your fucking entertainers in wrestling, you can shove it. You can shove it. Okay? You can shove it. They're the same fucking thing in every which way possible. WWE just prefers a much more entertainment aspect to the wrestling business. It's still a wrestling business, no matter which way they want to flip it. Anyways, so WCW is losing their grip. And after this, by the time I get to Spring Stampede, they would flip-flop back and forth between being number one and number two, while ECW is there being the good alternative number three that it is. Uncensored is actually a good show. It has very, very good matches on the card. It has some not so good matches, but those not so good matches are not like the bottom of the barrel pieces of shit that WCW fans in later on will be accustomed to. No, these bad matches are just they're not inherently bad wrestling matches. They're just bad angles that goes on during their matches. Anyways, Booker T defeats Eddie Guerrero to retain his television title in the opening match. See, what I hate about today's cruiserweight division in WWE is they're stuck behind that goddamn purple ropes. They're stuck on 205 Live, or they're stuck on some dead spot on Monday Night Raw, and they have to have those fucking stupid purple ropes. And they're stuck facing the exact same guys over and over and over and over again. In WCW Cruiserweights, they weren't stuck facing the same guys over and over and over again. Yes, you would see Chris Jericho facing Dean Malenko a million times, and you will see Eddie Guerrero facing Rey Mysterio a million times over. But every now and then, Eddie Guerrero will mix it up with a Diamond Dallas Page or Ric Flair. And Chris Jericho would even face Scott Hall a couple of times. Rey Mysterio mixed up with Kevin Nash a couple of times, for God's sakes. Dean Malenko, he would pair up and face off against the likes of Diamond Dallas Page and Randy Savage and Ric Flair and so on and so forth. So they weren't stuck facing the exact same fucking people. This is a good match overall. Booker T beats Eddie Guerrero to retain his television title, and Eddie Guerrero would beat up Chavo Guerrero afterwards. Again, the cruiserweights weren't stuck facing other cruiserweights. They weren't stuck behind purple ropes, and they weren't stuck facing the cruiserweight title. They would go after the United States title or the television title, as I've stated before in prior reviews. A great match overall, 7.5 out of 10. These two would be great, and Booker T would showcase why he should have been the future all along of WCW. Hell, in my opinion, Booker T should have been WCW World Heavyweight Champion in 1999, not by the end of 2000. Same thing with Scott Steiner. Juventud Guerrero defeats Conan to get 1-0 on NWO versus WCW. Juventud Guerrero, again, they weren't facing the same cruiserweights. Conan, this all started because Conan said that he, Juventud Guerrero, has disgraced his heritage. Disgraced the heritage because he is unmasked. This is a good match overall, and WCW wins their first match of the night 1-0. Juventud wins and defeats Conan. 6 out of 10, good stuff. Chris Jericho defeats Dean Malenko to retain his Cruiserweight title in a great match. This match gets hot and gets hotter and hotter as the match goes. It's getting hotter and hotter, just like it is getting hotter and hotter today. Good gracious. This is a great match in a very much underrated feud. You have Sting versus Vader, NWO versus WCW, which never fucking ended, really. You had Savage versus Diamond Dallas Page. You had so many great rivalries. You had Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat. All these great rivalries in WCW. But one of the most underrated rivalries would be Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko would lose this match, and soon he would be gone from WCW for a while. And Chris Jericho would go out there and he would stay in the middle of the ring. He would say, "You say you're the man of 1,000 holds, but I'm the man of 1,004 holds, and I got them all right here. Number 1, arm drag. Number 2, arm bar. Number 3, the right-handed family redunzel, or where the fuck. Number 4, arm bar. Number 5, arm bar. Number 6, the lion tamer. Number 7, this. Number 8, this. Then it'll come to commercial. Then it'll come back. Number 710, arm bar. Number 711, right-handed hook punch. Number 712, arm bar. Number 713, the Japanese arm drag. Whatever. Number 715, the fucking German soup. Whatever the fuck. Arm bar this. I'm a conspiracy victim. I'm a conspiracy victim this and a conspiracy victim that. I love this feud, and I would talk much more about this feud when I get to Spring Stampede and especially Slamboree, when Dean Malenko would get an ovation that's unheard of, even for a guy like him. Great match, 8 out of 10, in a very much underrated feud. Chris Jericho retains his Cruiserweight title. Moving on. Lex Luger defeats Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, White Thunder, as he is called here. Forgotten nickname number 1 for Scott Steiner. In a meh match, 4 out of 10. And it's now 2-0 on the NWO. Then we have Diamond Dallas Page, Chris Benoit, unfortunately, and Raven in a, get this, a triple Jeopardy match for the United States Championship. What the hell is a triple Jeopardy match? It's a triple threat match that's false count anywhere. That's what it is. Now keep in mind, it's not called that. It's not called a triple threat. 1, because it's WCW. And 2, triple threat matches are not well known here. As I stated before, the very first triple threat match on pay-per-view, at least, was Savio Vega versus Crush versus Farouk. And it was bad. Really bad, as I stated in that pay-per-view review, whichever one it was. So, this is a Triple Jeopardy rules match. It has triple threat rules. It's false count anywhere. And these guys, to say ECW was very influential would be an understatement. Not only did they influence, in my opinion, the entire WWF attitude, but they also influenced WCW in many, many different ways than you would think. I mean, for God's sakes, they have Raven. You have the Raven's flock, which comes right from the Raven's nest. I mean, DDP and Raven and Chris Benoit and a couple other guys, they would have matches like this. DDP and Randy Savage had matches like these, where they use weapons and they use false count anywhere rules, and they go wherever they can in the building. And they do this all over the building, all over the arena, all over the stage. They use everything. Stop signs, fucking chairs, fucking tables, including the kitchen sink. Love ECW brawls. You're going to love this match. This is one of the best matches in WCW history. One of the best matches you're going to find in WCW and in wrestling, period. Diamond Dallas Page gets tossed through a fucking light box by the stage. He gets tossed in through this uncensored light box thing. So he's just lying there, unconscious, while the light is just blinking on and off. That had to be fucking annoying as shit. One of the best moments is where Diamond Dallas Page is just crawling. He's crawling up the aisle. And the fans, I yearn for an ovation. I yearn for crowds like this, where they're just genuinely behind somebody, where they're just genuinely into the match, and they're not chanting stupid bullshit, "This is awesome" chants, or "We are awesome" chants, or "Fight forever" chants, or "Fight forever, fight forever, this is awesome, this is awesome." They don't do that. It's fucking great. They're just genuinely into the match, not having to get themselves over, unlike today's society in WWE's wrestling, where they have to be, "This is awesome," in a fucking semi-decent match. Someone will do a high spot, or someone will do some stupid indie fucking terrific move, and they would go, "This is awesome." Shut up your asses, Marks. This is a great match, and you don't need "This is awesome" chants. Great stuff. I loved it. 9 out of 10. Diamond Dallas Page gets the victory after a top rope diamond cutter through a table. Unfortunately, the table, it wasn't a Japanese table. It was much more like a Spanish table, where it kind of just crumbles below them. But yeah, an awesome match with no "This is awesome" chants. Good stuff. 9 out of 10. Diamond Dallas Page, he is so fucking over and would prove to be one of the finest icons in WCW history. Too bad WWE has to ruin them by giving him a stupid stalker gimmick in the invasion gimmick angle. Of course they do. 9 out of 10. Next up, the Giant defeats Kevin Nash via disqualification in a piss poor match. The worst match on the card here, nowhere near as good as their match on Sold Out. I said I like guys going in there and beating the piss out of each other. Well, they do that. However, this match is just nowhere near as good as Sold Out. It ends in disqualification, where all the guys just come in and beat the piss out of it. They beat the piss out of the Giant, but then the Giant goes ape shit, and the Giant choke slams everybody. So now it's 3-0 on WCW side. Next up, Bret Hart defeats Curt Hennig, making it 4-0. Yeah, it's an upset victory for WCW, basically. As Bret Hart defeat Curt Hennig in a good match, nowhere near as their SummerSlam 91 match, nowhere near as good as their King of the Ring 93 match, but a good match overall, 6.5 out of 10. It's sad to see Rick Rude out there with Curt Hennig, two dead guys in a match. Oh, it's so sad. But, again, sometimes it's hard watching these old shows because you have a lot of dead guys. You have Eddie Guerrero, you have Chris Benoit, you have Rick Rude, you have Curt Hennig. That really hurts you. It's really hard going back and watching some of these shows because of, dead wrestlers and so on and so forth. A good match, but nowhere near as their King of the Ring 93 match. Good match overall, though. 6.5 out of 10. Honestly, one of the very few highlights in Bret Hart's career. Sting defeats Scott Hall to retain his WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Scott Hall has to wait not until Starrcade, not until Sold Out, not until Super Brawl, but until fucking Uncensored because of the bullshit shenanigans that was Starrcade and further bullshit shenanigans of Sold Out. and super brawl. Good gracious, great balls of fire. So Scott Hall finally gets his match, and he gets his match where he's now playing a drunk because WCW, in their infamous wisdom, thinks it's a good idea to portray Scott Hall, who is very much under this time period where he is very much an alcoholic and is very much into drugs, very much into alcohol, very drunk a lot. They think in their infinite wisdom, hey, let's capitalize on Scott Hall's alcoholism and make him a fucking drunk on TV. And it would get so bad later on in the year that he would literally vomit all over Eric Bischoff. Ugh. Ugh. I only wish in 2000 someone would vomit all over Vince Russo, because good gracious, those shows were bad. This character is bad. Scott Hall portraying this drunk because they want to capitalize on him and his drunkiness and his alcoholism, it's just very bad. Not as bad as WWF capitalizing on Road Warrior Hawk's drug abuse and alcoholism and literally killing him off on screen on Raw is War. But I digress. Sting defeats Scott Hall in a good match, a 6 out of 10. Good match, and Sting makes it 5-0. That's right. In one of the very few pay-per-views in the NWO era, WCW not only wins the night, they destroy the NWO. And the NWO have further self-destruction in the main event. We have Randy Savage versus Hollywood Hogan in a steel cage match. Steel cage matches, except War Games in WCW, are almost always bullshit. Anything goes. Or actually nothing goes. Because apparently you can get disqualified in a cage match. That's what happened to Lex Luger in his match with Ric Flair in 1990. You can win the match but not win the title in a steel cage match. You can just handcuff your opponent to a match, to the cage, and win the match that way. You can, or in this case, in this particular steel cage, you can, just have the match end and have the match end in a no contest. I said that. A steel cage match ends in no contest. No contest. So here's the ending. Sting comes down. You have the disciple of Apocalypse, who I did not know at the time was Brutus Beefcake. I did not know it was Brutus Beefcake until like 2014. I'm dead serious. It's that unnoticeable. I did not know that. Anyways, Sting gets decked by Randy Savage. Randy Savage turns on Sting, or didn't turn on Sting, I guess, because he didn't want to join WCW. He just wants to be the ruler of the NWO. He just hates Hogan so much. Doesn't make sense. Didn't live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. Randy Savage decks Sting and then walks out of the steel cage. And then Hogan says, "You're with the NWO. You work for me. You work for me. Are you with the NWO?" So now we have to answer this question. Whose side is he on? Whose side is Randy Savage on? Whose side is Randy Savage on? Is he with the NWO? Is he with WCW? No. Randy Savage says, "I hate you, Hogan, but I'm still with the NWO." So why did he deck Sting? Because he is the world's most dangerous man in wrestling. No, that's Ken Shamrock's moniker. This match is okay, but I give it a 4 because of the fucking fucktard, retarded, stupid finish. It's just typical Hollywood Hogan. He can't take a fucking pinfall loss in a steel cage match. It ends in this fucking no contest. Whose side is he on? He is still with the NWO, but he hates Hogan. That's the whole point. 4 out of 10. And a steel cage match ends in a no contest. A bunch of bullshit. I'm Dan Rock 08. Overall, Uncensored gets a A 6 out of 10. That's a good show with a piss poor main event finish. And I'll catch you next time for the March 23rd and March 30th edition of Raw is War. And for WCW, it's Spring Stampede, baby. Thank you. Goodbye.